Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my first YouTube video on my channel. Just to give you a bit of an understanding of what my channel's about, it will be about audiobook reviews, something that I'm interested in. It's something I don't seem to find a lot online, so I thought I'll put my hand up and say I'll make these reviews, and hopefully other people will make those reviews and I can stop making the reviews and just watch their reviews, which would be cool. So with my first video, I actually thought I'll start not by reviewing any audiobooks, but reviewing the app that I actually listen to my audiobooks on, which is important to me because it gives me access to a certain audiobooks, but not other audiobooks. So it'll give you guys a bit of an understanding why I listen to the particular audiobooks I listen to. So the app that I use, which I'll put up on the screen, is the HiBooks App, which you can download on your iPhone. This particular app, the reason why I chose this app instead of Audible, which I've used in the past, is it's a subscription based service. So this is in Australia. In Australia, for $14 a month, you got unlimited access to their library, I guess, of audiobooks. Technically speaking, you don't own the audiobooks like you do in Audible. You sort of just download them, you listen to them, and when you want to free up space, you delete them and get rid of them and download more audiobooks. Now, obviously this app's got its pros and cons. The main pro of the app is the subscription base. For $14 a month, I've got unlimited access to the entire library, which I like because it sort of takes the risk out of downloading an audiobook and starting to listen to an audiobook. And you know, with these books, if I don't like them, I feel more free to stop and just be like, no, that's rubbish. I'm not going to continue listening to that, wasting my time, because let's be honest, audiobooks do consume a lot of time. You sort of do get yourself invested into them, particularly if it's a series and, you know, there's 5 or 6 books in that series. That's you know, a lot of time. So yeah, I've over time with this app, I've definitely downloaded audiobooks that I don't like, and I've just stopped listening to them, deleted them, and I've felt more comfortable doing that. With Audible, for an extra $2 a month in Australia, so $16, they've got a token based system where each month you get a token that you can use to buy one audiobook, which means you've sort of got to be a bit more picky and choosy about your audiobooks that you get off them. You have to sort of know that you're going to like the audiobook before you buy it, and you're not always going to know if you like the audiobook before you buy it. So there's that bit of risk there that I don't like. And also the main issue with that I don't like as well is, for me personally, I get through an audiobook in about 2 weeks. So if I have to wait another, basically with Audible, what was happening was I was waiting 2 weeks to listen to another audiobook because I would finish one and have to wait until I get my next monthly token to get the other. Either that or spend more money and buy more audiobooks, which I didn't want to do. I went with HiBooks for that reason alone, to be honest. If Audible said that they would charge $18 a month for a subscription-based system, I'd jump on that. Like, I'd pay the extra $4 for their library over the library that is on HiBooks. So that's sort of because it is a better value, the Audible library, than what it is the HiBooks library. The HiBooks library is very limited. It's got more niche-y type of books on it. It's probably got lower quality audiobooks, got lower quality narrators on it, but there's also hidden gems amongst those. So that's probably my first part on that topic. So moving on with the review of the app itself, for the most part it's fairly user friendly. And I'll put screenshots on the screen. So up the top, basically down the bottom you've got 4 options. You've got library, discover, search, profile. Don't worry about the profile. Library is basically the stuff that you've sort of pressed on in the past while you've been searching in discovery or in search, and it sort of lingers there, as a reference to go back to if you want. Also in library, if you are on the library screen, you'll see underneath it says downloads. You press downloads, that's the actual stuff you've got downloaded at the moment. Which I usually tend to have like 6 to 8 audiobooks downloaded at any given time. But if you do delete those, you'll find that they still, you can still find them pretty easily in your library, some of the past audiobooks that you've listened to and stuff like that. That's pretty simple to use. You basically press on a book that you like, and you'll see the Listen Now button. The Listen Now button, if you haven't downloaded it, you'll actually be listening to the audiobook streaming in a streaming type system. If you see on the right of that Listen Now, there's a little download type button that you actually need to press to download before you press the Listen Now, and that'll mean that you actually have it downloaded. Which, once again, probably one of the more poor aspects of this app is it doesn't really explain that. You sort of figure that out on your own. So there's that for the app. Now, Discovery works well after you've used the app for a while. When you first go into the app, when you first download the app and start using it, it doesn't know what you like, which makes sense. So the discovery part of it, sort of, you scroll down it and there's nothing there that will interest you. But I've actually found, I've been using this app for probably 6 months now, and I found probably the last 2 months it's really gotten to know me, and the Discovery Now is actually a fairly good option for me to peruse, to see if there's things that maybe things that I might not essentially be looking for, but it might pop up and sound interesting, and I'll have a closer look at it on the app and I'll go, yeah, that's pretty cool, I might give that a go. The other thing that the Discovery does is it is a bit of an advertisement thing in regards to what's new on the app, like what new audiobooks, what new authors did they do a deal with when downloading books and stuff like that. So yeah. So also with the Discovery, there's categories. So if you go in categories, you've got basically all your stock standard categories that would be on any app. Any audiobook app, I should say, or book app in general. So yeah, my personal preferences are sci-fi, fantasy, young adult, because it usually has sci-fi fantasy in it. History, just general non-fiction. Sometimes I have a little look at business and finance, but not really. So that's sort of how the categories work. Now, if you go in the categories, the thing that I also find a bit annoying about this app is you go in the category, sci-fi and fiction. You've probably been in the category a million times because that's the type of books you like listening to. The problem is, it will start with the same, it's always basically the same list. It doesn't change much, which means you have to, if you want to really peruse and find something in that category that you're not sure of and you're just sort of shopping around, you really, like, to begin with, it's easy because, it's the first time you've been in it. But then the more you peruse, the more you actually have to start scrolling down further, wait for it load, scroll down further and further. Sometimes there are new books that pop up higher up on the list, but you do find that the list doesn't tend to update as well as it should, and that if you really want to look for something different or new, you have to go pretty far down sometimes. And it just keeps going. Like, there's lots of books. There is lots of books. It just keeps going and going and going. So that is annoying. Another annoying feature of the app. But once again, for me personally, the fact that its subscription sort of just overwrites all the failures of the app. And then the other option is actually the search function, which is a very simple just search engine, which I'll bring up on the screen as well. The problem with this is you don't know if, because it still is, it might have a lot of audiobooks, but it's still quite limited compared to like Audible, or if you see something out in the shops at your local bookstore and you want to listen to the audiobook version of that, you're most likely not going to find it on this app. So searching, I prefer to always search for authors over book titles. I find that the search engine works better for that. The search engine also works well with narrators too. So if you're searching for a particular type of narrator, they'll usually you'll get all their books that they've narrated in a lot easier than actually looking for a title. But yeah, the problem with this is that you don't know what you're searching for. You don't know what's actually in the app and what's not in the app is more of a problem. So when you do try to search for stuff, you're probably going to find 9 times out of 10 you won't find it, which does make the search function a lot less useful. The only thing I think it is useful for is if you're looking for an author. It'd be like, I like this author, let me search, see if there's any books for that author on this app. And you might come lucky, you might not. But if you're looking for an actual book title, you're probably going to find that you don't find it. The last problem with this is, and I've come across this a bit recently, I've gotten into some really interesting titles, some really interesting books. They're like a part of a 6-7 book series, and it's only got like the first 3 books or the first 4 books. It even sometimes is as bad as it has like the second and third book and not the first book. they have gotten better at it. When, like I said, I've had this app for 6 months now. When I first got it, they were really bad at that. It has improved a lot, and I hope it continues to improve. But I'm still coming across. I'm more coming across now. Book title series that I can start and not finish unless I go to Audible. If I really want to finish it, that's always an option. I do know from listening to online reviews of this app and stuff, what I find is a lot of people actually use it in conjunction with Audible, but that means you're spending $14 plus $16 to get, the convenience of subscription and the convenience of access to whatever books you want. So that's quite a bit of money to spend, I think, for that type of service, I suppose. And like I said, I think if Audible came up with a subscription service that was still more expensive, but at least cheaper than this. I mean, cheaper than having the both of them would be. I think a lot of people would I think HiBooks would probably become irrelevant. So, yeah, alright. So that was my first, hopefully not my only, YouTube video. The next YouTube video that I will be doing will be a review on an audiobook that I've listened to recently. And yeah, my ultimate goal is to do short reviews, videos that only last about 5, maybe 8 minutes. So yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching my first YouTube video. And I'm sure I'll see more of you.